So, it's the morning after, and we're gonna go on a little adventure. You can come if you want. First stop, Little Black Sun. To be or not to chase PCP down the alley, the alienated, phenomenological rendering reverberates. I will not be originating by the bass, but the bass. Get out of the way, the noose, the might. Captain, incorporate this ends tonight. Alky, don't pretend to know the new right. Weathered men, a mere 5 from center and giving up on good fight. Seat stealing, sans the emotive high. Or is historical anachronism, like nationalism, a juvenile obsession with ultra-violent self projected beyond television. We're doomed to get at least 3 of the 7 of them, with cocaine as a hemorrhaging commodity fetishism, squeezing buyer's remorse through the needled nepotism of a lion grumbling. My camel is a means to every camel is an end. You are unimportant in the fleeting juxtaposition of subject and objectivity voids a presumption of the observer to exercise everything. Put these on. We, the all-encompassing, intra-substantiating proliferation of anything, qua anything, act the multitonal impetus behind all scripture, fleshing in the wane of convergent evolution, borderless nerve, wax and dada, the mustache on globalization. Bring it. How very passé is cultural colonialism? Collect on clustered, corrupt, canine combustion in the private Pentecostal engine, as the emaciated whole of an angelic determinism stood up while shoulder to shoulder to shoulder, sloughing the swollen wardrobe of the beast as mass media cultivating short spans of attention, cyclically rededicated, if you will, to what is tantamount to a habituated addiction to entertainment. Genius never frets, despite their crying wolf like it's a first world prerogative. Surface, anti-fatalist, submarine dispensing with the lyrical opiates, winding down, Live Aid and the peanut gallery conscript as horse mount self and snapdragon sports armbands with that implicit infinite nah. One without a little black sun on it. The figure skating consequentialist would know there ain't nothing new in it. Water comes to the senses. Corinthians is of more import than rap music, and punk rock only makes billions of bucks, 'cause your wayward lamb is not my responsibility. As for me, I roll radial to the tangent of my lover's arcing sanity. The opposable comfort zones bombing Dolly as the Isthmus of Panama just goes on radiating. Bread and circuses, football and chicken wings, science and soup kitchen, strange love and libido appropriating third world causality. Discarding caved ego to ascend is a bastard's wasted energy, because all traffic-sheathed mystics rock the same one per derivative type of autonomy. None of this means anything, save, I suppose, oin. Can we not just go that way? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Gypsy Arcade. Deciduous forest on a leather space station. Would you please just get in line for judgment and anarchy? The content of consciousness is consciousness. It's time to put away childish things. Wrong way is wrong way. Wrong way is wrong way to the human, no so human effort to be rid of all idolatry. She's a bit like Wicked Wheel in mythology, faulty projectionist, diapers, and a toothless Wolverine. Building it without constructing one is unscrupulous. on my subcontinent, 10-4. They call me, don't call me. Sandstorm, vainglorious, closeted introvert. Et al. Epiphany, anthropomorphizable cucumber. Edify Godot, one pole, 5 corner. The cot and a compass. Kudzu having a heart attack on a date at the cinema. Proprietary muscle shirt. Lemming jerky. She-wolf creamer. Cupiditous buffalo. Silk hammock. Kittens with advanced medical degrees. Digital fungus. Cannibal gatherer on a diet. Back bacon radio, endless holiday in Nazi Russia, prairie dog vacuum, things more interesting than autonomy, Leviathan doppelganger, militant short bus, Keystone Archipelago, democratic collectivism, Nudibranch running muscle for the epiphyte mafia, waffle superior, tertiary turtle, temple top-heavy, kept men in the pre-apocalyptic arrangement. Qualia remembers not to sweat the leavening, Laputan juggling, red and white pandas, and a holophrastic megalodon, rubber-necking Bible verse, freebasing grace, self-seeking estrangement, truth as a woolly compounding, and stoicism swallows the breeze to shade the sun, community flotation device, a sanguine nihilist with Stockholm syndrome, decapitated brownies and weebelows with PTSD, leafcutter ants, overdosing, the immature Epicurean neglecting pet troglodyte more out of love than malice. Autumn comes to the Manichean, insidious industry. The goldfish worships the state it is in because it is a state of being worshipped. Grass bowls lined with wax, doubting Thompson gun, rehab, scarfing sticky rice, poetic chicanery, pine taproot, neo-sapien, sailing the censorship into oblivious concentrism, rule by riches, defunct mimetic panacea machine, the spiritually bankrupt citizenry of a dying civilization, prophetic piracy, meek on meek violence, and the peck of pale koi where the pond is not rippling. Me, you, me, you, me, you. De-juice raspberry, thus saith the hairless orang. There is only my river, love. You ain't no bleeding tributary. Did you get anything worth having? Well, the date is 12/10/08. Sorry. Dear Mom, you are not a slut, and 1,000 is poison. Apparently it takes 24,500 dead Indians inside of 57 years to institutionalize a celebration of dissonance. So this here is a grandiose 3-minute ethno-philosophical liquidation of sex, drugs, and parking permit. In short, I ain't one. House hipsters stumble and bowed by the pretense toward inferiority and fail to realize that censorship is twice penultimate to autonomy. Worry does manifest the heft of its own probability, and homeless wordness is the oxymoron's tautology. Hateful Christian is portly Gentiles, is hateful Christian is an anti-fold. The expropriation of a muscular skeletal system and affiliated meta-narrative toward ends not determined independently is about as cruel a habit as it's always been, and as violent as it could ever possibly be. It's all in the left foot, toots. And the who's of the blues don't die before diplomacy. Couch niggers need be emigrating, as though brief recapitulations of American musical mythology would all know ain't we each formerly arboreal, Taoist Mecca interpretations of London sunrise and anthropological treason, jitterbug and wetbacks tend to reason, kind of funny. Like contemplating containment is what makes creeps creepy, or the world as whim willing these hosts off their parasite irrevocably, tower louse, wedding the vowed wife of an abusive husbandry to myopic totalitarian is the insect's modus operandi. Why the cohesive center of your little community can't be every one of them is a rhetorical inquiry that will haunt me until the end of history. So, fell and bundle, the next to last enemy, and strap it to your back and carry it, redneck faggot, or set it aside and forget about it. Either way, that's a compliment, and now we've got to build theirs all over again, just for no devil preaching. Gay is ecological imperative. No, you're right, we ain't in this all together, but I is. Like prima facie egalitarianism, because nothing is what it is until it's made what it isn't. The chink pieced together all out of exit, walking home, past pigs on a motherfucking plane and redundancy, bear on the motherfucking train and redundancy, leap-suited squirrels on a motherfucking outpatient planet and redundancy. It's never okay to screw the face of a stranger, and empty bubbles are not an empirically viable depiction of the artist's depression. Psychosemantic rumination loop is a cure for cancer, and 100 is poison. Great bigot in the sky, man alive. Let's not do that again, shall we? I was afraid we weren't going to make it through that one. But since we did, welcome to the Autonomous Collective. Continental Congress, 2016. 8 billion constellations of intelligibility, and counting on every one of them to superimpose serenity on points of departure and a dot matrix leveling. Where were you going? Isn't the value of any socioeconomic hallucination the anticlimactic realization that the dualism is a tripartite substance containing exactly 2 destinations, what I am and what I am becoming, thrice one ocean and apart with all of its holes in idle motion? Heavy-handed Nazi Zionism and a stout anti-fascism. You do know you ain't supposed to live in no innermost sun? Not your average junkie's prostration. Josh is an anti-provincial ghost, turning tides Telios toward the coup to end all gentrification. Your parents' job was to build. Gossip, annihilation. Yours is to be destruction. The one illusion more cumbersome than romancing a superstitious dedication to the madness of communism is a self-effacing preoccupation with genuflecting congregationalism. Again, Jezebel say the populace is a false one. Junior capitalists are misogyny is an irrational devotion to the systemic disorientation of anarchy as a transitory forfeiting of de facto authority to the ones most willing to suffer de jure idolatry. I mean to say, endure the critic's sloth and the censor's hypocrisy, plead the fifth, and propagandize rights to privacy. This country exists for no other reason than to bed that suffering in a dismantled infrastructure reconstituted, such as to terminate superfluity, prayer, harmonious integration, and libraries for state-of-the-art technology. Everything is light, and consciousness is everything. Don Sumo Yakuza will not abide the seep of cruel and unusual through the wall of his osmosis machine. Time is flesh, and consent is key. The metaphorical perversion of technological jargon and framing facticity as a propagation of the ontotheological underbelly of the metaphysics of anarcho-syndicalism prior to a thoughtful and heartfelt consideration of the ethics of an elastic epistemology is a sarcastic effort to subvert shame not felt for homophilic voyeurism. Just get over it, she says. That's all, always, all underdetermined, and the fourth wall is more important than the imposition of opinion. Grace does not run on batteries. Cigarettes have nothing to do with anything. Smoke makes one weak, and fuck corporate imperialism. Fold box right round self and fill to brim. Nihilist ping pong and cubism. Your heart is one person, and my head is not other people. Love your first, ending imperium with companion steeple. Sheep, 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 sheeple. The Bipolar Express. The progeny of twice Mononoke and a mad ethicist going full-on solipsist to rule death anxiety and exist, unburdened by 12 stoop the narrow will to will and momentary transcendence of la difference. Hard to starboard is all of the way left, and the bridge which endures best spans eye to eye. Over bad faith is the artifice of impasse. The end of days is a globalized decadence, madmen, and the double date with your biological conscience, whereas the mind is not but a procession of sensual engagements with the content of its reflection. The multifarious degrees of stillness and an energetic suspension are free to move in any direction. Narrative therapy is the end of the road. Now get going, extract from time a truer distance, rounding out the corporeal extension of a capacity for abstract recollection until space-time occupies one point and orbits itself orbiting. Thou shalt not retard. The boy in me longing for anarcho-communism is a man demanding the adaptation of circumstance to ideological habituation. The great God is a reset button, and veterans of culture contra sacrosanct sense of security know everything is refundable, save a moonlit topple of autobiography as the canopied infinitesimal of a cubed infinity. The essence of the future is meaninglessness and destiny, hypo-individualized sagacity, taken hard over a technophilic lust after obsolescent gadgetry by the masochistic pageantry of international misanthropy, planting principally paired historicities, unearthing the parallel nature of perpendicular velocity to subvert the latent low of the territorial imperative as cloistered pacifism, tessellated a la the propagandi. Come to your senses. Don't pay for nothing. Eat in lotus position. Gonzo prophetic means faith by fear is tragic comedy. Gonzo prophetic means I am the earth, and the earth is me. Gonzo prophetic means vanity. Virtuous is humility. The exchange of use value for intrinsic worth is still not a symptom of anesthetized morality, fostering the material understanding of spirituality that erected the totem virtue of conspicuous consumption to circumvent despair and coddle inabilities to overcome competition. Rock and roll zealot, hip-hop Stasi thumbsuckers, xenophobic reactionaries masquerading merciless as a benevolent species, instant gratification seeking amoral crackpot empathy junkie, ascetic hedonists, roaches gumming liberty to push anti-suffrage methodology deep down. You and I both know exactly when the two prayers ought not be conflating. Act as you would be acted upon. Impulsivity is the devil's condom. This you stop. Like froth on a wave. For the record, cookies are the root of it, and death is an emotional reaction to the compulsive consumption of misdirection. Self-consciousness is it too. Life and born again. More cheek to turn than builded a Chiliagon has face to spit in. So long as 10 is going to be pretending, car is me, you, ours, and we drive one another essentially. Do not drive one another home if you do drive that impossibility. Cynicism, seeing not but hypocritical conservatives and nihilist vigilantes, gluttonous liberals and suicidal anarchist mermaids, schizo-affective consumers and testicle-eyed zombies, carpet-bagging Facebookers and smack-peddling vampires, thieves and liars and saints and orgiastic elders and runaway youth littered throughout the kitschy doom of corporate warfare. can't help but get sucker punch drunk living there. So I'm finished trying to figure it. Anti-pan come to resuscitate the primacy of obligation. The childish mind is a perpetual regress, sympathetic parenting, answering sure to should you be pointing. Demands for satisfaction breed resentment, demanding satisfaction breeding evil does not exist, and is the tenacious thought that you are a viable judge of it. Hell is other people. Give a fuck, damn it. The image you construct is never the image which is constructed. Whole peach. And we will be back for the means of production. Look, God, get some to water skiing. Whoa, you don't just drag an ass to heaven. Mustard seed, live dead beneath sternum. I see you've met number 2. Their name is escapism. 5 plus 6 minus 7 times 10 equals epiphenomenalism, a belief that the mind is perched intractably on the cusp of reality, overcoming itself perpetually, such as to be determined causally as advantageous stimuli trigger opportunistic responses, manifesting fortuitously the experience of a subjective actuality. Broken. Rock steady. What is divinity? Setting people aside to put to itself the inquiry. What is divinity? No matter the intuitive depths of another's depravity, nor the supposed heights of one's own benevolence, the ability to be omniscient does not precipitate a right to preclude omnipresence, and to be perpetually clean is a mite bit dirty, isn't it? Isn't it? Straight out the Old Testament. Honor thy son and daughter with a kiss. Movement is inconsequential. Mohammed was a stone sober. It's all about perception. Jesus was a tobacco smoker. I will take sensible rain on my chariot. Confucius is spoiled Taoists. From where I stand, the pain body is tremendous. Buddha is no wind, no, dismount. And so here we are, asking a question. What's in a name? The past is unconsciousness, a dubious image-constructing machine. The scar is a birthmark, and there ain't no such thing as a bathroom. That's an overly sentimental, unduly paranoid resignation to being caged by inanity, sacrificing integrity to qualify the purely conditional state of affairs is lunacy. Only lovers bored to tears accumulate back-assward validity on behalf of a stranger, balk at humility, and proceed to launch headlong down the 9 sterile steps to vanity beget vanity. Death is not demise, and this ain't the end of the line, fatherfuckers. This is Kentucky, where the wise collapse whenever all human endeavor to be easily transcended syntactic singularity, signifying the thought, belief, and behavior necessary to qualify any claim to said singularity's semantic dimension. Think twice, decide, and then transcend it. Project authentic reconnection to individuality presupposes concurrent states of isolation and discordant agreement commencing. You are nothing more, nothing less than what you were at the beginning, a soft, goo-covered crybaby wrapped miraculous around the blank slate of a fresh existence. Slow breakdown. Fanboys are the windmill. The windmill is transcendent contentment. Everything's connected. Keep it clean, devoid of sentiment. But not everything. What remains now unknown about the balanced equilibrium, settled human wholesome, a taut-formed family, and the intimate acquisition of a functional understanding as a means to employing it? The world is what is revealed, the streams of me diverted to the earth which is revealing. I will not pervert. Ain't no flippin' fish. I will not be perverted. Ain't no flopping fishing. Wage slavery being the byproduct of food supplies centralized, engendering a devotion to private property, blossoming a consumer economy, encouraging the commodification of the human spirit as a ritual offering to insecurity, the god of mass marketing. Do you live in a castle? Wrestle deontological right from not but vertical cognitive faculties, or a man castling. The woman who swallows ego is a self-fulfilling etymology. And this ain't Kentucky, truck bucker. This is the end of the line. All sons are the same son, and all daughters cry like this, child. To be free is to feel free, and the only thing that is real is what I believe. Coming up, tyranny of the majority, stitched cloth sack for a prosaic infantry, tailing cavalry. What cavalry? As the unconscious ones weep, wind blow indefinitely. No one wear yellow hat, please. 'Cause everyone wear yellow hat, please. What's in a name? She asks, and I say, I don't know, dear. A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. All I know is that I'm the king. King of kings. Sort of. On a good day. Alright. So, rather simply, I am a one-neuron army, struggling uphill to plant flag, raison de revelry in the hard-packed soil of a disposition orthodoxy. Timidity and aggression, postured at the behest of history, lines the coast with a set of standards determined topographically for redefining undermined identity. The art of seeing is an act of love, is discipline without needing to be. Fragmented wholes trying too hard to orchestrate corpuscular pageantry. Restraint is the new masculinity. Yes, yes. No, no. Peace of mind. Femininity. Dante's kingpin versus the perennially preemptive Protestant pragmatism parading primordial past pantheist pantomiming propensities towards seminal. Damn it, Lewis, did you want to be an ethical animal or just an animal? I swear to our God she will be beautiful. Renovations of tribal. Ain't the form a combination souls, and soul, impressing a procession of meaning and momentum upon the not inconsequential fabric of a quantum theological field recovery? Dendrite jungles deconstructed, less one canopy, discovering the reductio ad absurdum of externalized insecurity, cognitive equivocation, autocracy, and idiotic fecundity. Cakeboarding is not a mystery. Resist the transcendence of soliloquy. The subjectification of the male becoming a huge problem in this country. Only the music. Cancel the monad taxidermy. Democracy is not for dummies. In the room is 2 empty chairs, a past, and in point of fact, piety. Beep, beep. Don't give 2 shits what they think they're thinking in your direction. And take a parkle past automobile and adrenaline, and fast food and endorphins, television, serotonin, caffeine, and the oligarchical structure of hierarchical bureaucracy. Love, dopamine, war, nicotine. What is their excuse for 9 out of 11 deserts being the same exact terrible Taoist as me? Over simple definitions of violence are expectations of beauty indebted to pornography. And there ain't no such thing as public transportation, gatekeeper, carpooling, sex squadron. Stand strong, assuming not rights to home invasion. Harrier raising the Bildungsroman of a whittling sun as a metaspheric installation circumscribing compassionate cohabitant fiction. Derelict internationalist deviants commandeering the Disney conglomerate, scrounge a China mind morality to sink it knee deep into unity as free-form, dissolution, and participatory. All men, all of them, how they do. And we're coming up to our last stop. On your left, you will find a prodigaled done. So, why they insist on clambering up and out of considerate to crawl callous, cross cool, consequential calculation, and climb down into a cynic's gas chamber is beyond me. Question, quick, please. If it's not castle contraband, consumed carefully, consummating cohesive core comprehensibility as cooperative cove conversions, caved conceptually to codify consensual chink construction, can it be more than a contrivance of corporate competences, cocksure and collecting conspiratorially to cancel contrition, conjuring currents contaminated by the cataclysm of a chaos convoluted? Of course, but in the end, you're just another price-laced convenience store cracker clinging reckless to a hard-right transubstantiation, shadowing tactless, my savior of all souls, lightly peppered and stripped naked by, sure. Who the fuck isn't? Kidding. What would you say to 3 easy steps to escaping? 1. You don't have a body. And first, conceptualize the organism wherein is housed the entity. Worship. Second, observe, confront, and accept wholly the fact that you are not but human, a self-important ball of excess opinion doing its damnedest to remember that all difference is petty preference, not but human, a habituated, manipulated, contorted, contaminated sack of flesh, blood, and bone, realizing the family unit is not the key variable in any cultural configuration, not but human, nature's liar par excellence, noticing how all physicality is subject to cause and effect as quantum dominoes unfolding chemical interactions determine every last thing save the very next breath. Not but human, divinity's ineffable reflection, understanding that the only thing which separates air from skin is a subjectively dictated mystery, rewritten such as to liberate the organism from subjectivity, from the bowels of history. And 3, never forget that ego is not identity, and lurking in the shadow cast by the light you shine naturally falling across the second-hand hodgepodge analysis of self that passes for ego is the culminated bile of an entire life's worth of feeling so important as to have been wounded anything more than superficially, ever. Pain, resentment, regret, pain, and it will manifest as physical symptoms if you keep putting it off. Don't forget. Don't confront. Counteract. Don't compromise. Construct. Intention. Intentionality. But one solution to Venus Project base solo, Zeitgeist, 10-man golden, I am calf in a dying state. Cut the crap. Skip the anarchy. Be the bigger one and make your own fate. Here we are. Man, it's nice up here.